Nigeria is a democratic country, and we know very well that President Tinubu and the Renewed Hope agenda is a democratic one. And I believe that the judgment is taken in very good faith. All Nigerians should be happy about it. I don't think anybody is against development in the local governments. I don't think so. I have not read the details of the judgment that's passed. When we do, I believe that the application of it should add some pep to our local government administration.
At a fundamental level, yes, we need resources to get down to the real down grassroots, and we need the people's money to work for them at all levels, whether at the federal, at the state, and at the local government. We need the people's money together. We need to promote accountability. We need to promote transparency in the utilization of public resources at all levels to be able to lift the burden of the common man. For me, for my state, which is the other thing that is peculiar, is that there has been a lingering litigation, for example, that stopped local government elections in the past, and that particular litigation is still in the courts, so to speak. We're going to see how we handle all of that and to organize a local government election as appropriate. I'm a believer in in having a democratic system. Like I said, I made a firm commitment to that, and I don't say what I won't do.
Welcome back. So we told you earlier that it's a conversation that has many implications, not just the legal implication, but also the political implication, and of course the administrative implication, particularly for local governments. So we're looking at that aspect of it now, and joining us to have this side of the conversation is the National Coordinator, Democracy Vanguard, Governance, Public Policy and Development Consultant. He joins us from our Abuja studio, Mr. John Mutu. Mr. Mutu, good morning and welcome to the Morning Brief.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
Of course, it's been celebrated as a landmark judgment that has come to cure us of an age-long malaise. So it will be ideal to ask what your reaction will be, but also the fact that the governors are currently meeting. We've had some reactions from, two governors, but a holistic view will be interesting, to see. I wonder what your expectations are from that side as well, even as you react to the judgment.
Thank you so much. I think I will join Nigerians to say today is a very, 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 very celebratory day for Nigerians. It's victory for our democracy. And like you rightly noted, it's an advocacy that has been going on for a very long time. It's been a struggle that has been going on for a very long time. The National Assembly has taken, the gauntlet and has been pushing for this for a very long time. Civil society groups, the media, Nigerians have been clamoring for this over the years. And today, the federal government took the bull by the horn and initiated this action. And I'm glad that at least we have achieved this very, very, very important milestone in our democracy. So congratulations, Nigerians. If I haven't said that, like you rightly noted, when they say the reward for hard work is more work, it's just to tell you that there is still a lot of work to be done. The Supreme Court judgment has opened up, the governance space for a lot of reforms to take place. It has also opened up a lot of challenges that comes with that interpretation. But by and large, with a great progress, it's a very, very, very landmark judgment, and we are happy, very, very, very happy. Just yesterday, I was hosting some groups, including the Nigerian Union of Teachers, NULGE, the Medical and Health Workers Union, and other civil society groups to reflect on the implications of the judgment. And some very, very eye-opening issues came up there that most Nigerians are not aware of. And I think that is where Nigerians should be thinking about. And the first issue is that of accountability. How can we ensure that now that the resources are going to be going to the local governments directly, how can we ensure that those resources are properly utilized? That is one issue. The second part of it is the huge capacity gap that exists at the local government level, not just at the individual level, but also at the institutional level. Since 1999 up to date, there has been a lot of, interventions from the donor partners, development communities, strengthening the capacity of state governors and state governments, strengthening the capacity of federal institutions to effectively govern their various MDAs. But at the local government level, that support has not been there. And because also that level of governance, tier of government has been, to a large extent, being left, to lie fallow, you see that there is a lot of capacity gap. Now that you expect the local government to now start, dealing with the budgets, you now expect them to start developing their budget, you expect them to start implementing, you also expect them to be coordinating with the various state governments to ensure effective synergy between the local government and the states. What institutional mechanisms, what systems, and what processes can we support them to put in place to ensure that they effectively take these newfound responsibilities forward? Before now, to a large extent, the states, in most of these states, the state governments have been taking those responsibilities. But now that they are going to be taking it forward, there are a huge capacity gap that we need to support them to address.
And those are real...
I think that is the next line of action that we should be looking at.
Yeah, and those are real institutional realities that, local government administrators should begin reflecting on. But, you talked about accountability. Yeah. Let's look at the nitty-gritty of that. We just had a senior advocate of Nigeria who said what this has really done is to chip away at the powers of the governors. So it's a give-and-take situation. Take away some of the powers of the governors and give it to the local government chairpersons. But really, if we reflected also on the fact that it is in the powers of the state governors to appoint the heads of the helmsmen of the state independent electoral commissions, and the state assemblies also conduct local government elections. What are the implications of engagement that you see in that space if the powers to conduct elections at the local government levels still reside within the subnationals? What implications do you see it having on the liberty of the local government administrations to express themselves?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question. But again, first things first. I'm a believer of incremental change. I don't expect the whole world to change overnight. But again, the battle has been going on. One is to help them get administrative autonomy. The second part of it is to help them get financial autonomy. And through that landmark judgment now, we have both administrative and financial autonomy. But there are other operational challenges, which you rightly noted, which is the leadership recruitment process. Who conduct local government elections. But the current constitution provides that the state independent electoral commission conduct the elections for the local government, just like INEC conduct elections for the states and federal elections. For now, what I'm focused on, what we should be focusing on is how can we support those state and local governments to be able to effectively manage those resources? How can we support the state independent electoral commissions to conduct effective local government elections? How can we also support civil society groups, community-based organizations, the media to hold, and the communities also to hold local governments accountable for the resources that they will be receiving directly? However, maybe in the future, we can be working with the National Assembly to ensure that, if possible, amend the relevant sections of the Constitution to now grant INEC the power to conduct local government elections, if that is the way to go. But for now, what is most important is how can we support them? What our focus should be on working towards ensuring effective utilization of those resources, supporting them to also deploy those resources to meet the yearnings of the masses, which is very, very critical. The people have suffered enough. Nigerians have suffered enough. We've endured all sorts of things. But the time is now for us to make sure that those monies are not siphoned, these monies are not pilfered, these monies are not wasted, putting the relevant mechanisms in place to ensure proper accountability of those resources. And two of those mechanisms for ensuring effective accountability is the audit process. I know that a lot of states have their auditor generals of the local government working with the auditor generals of the local government to ensure proper effectiveness, economy, and efficiency in the utilization of those resources. And also working with the councillors who have the responsibility for appropriation and who have the responsibility of oversight to perform those functions the immediate term. Then on the long term, we can start talking about elections.
All right, let's bring in Comrade Olatunji Ambali now, who is the President General, Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, NULGE, who joins us via Zoom from Abuja. Good morning and welcome, Comrade Ambali, to the program.
Wonderful morning to all our listeners and Nigerians. I say congratulations for a new local government system, a relevant system of government, closest to the people, capable of delivering.
Well, Comrade, unsurprisingly, you are in a celebratory mood. So go ahead and, pour out your feelings on this judgment. And while you're doing that, we have already started the conversation, and I imagine, I hope that you're following. So share with us what you expect to be going forward, relations between the state governors and local government administrators following this ruling.
Yes, we welcome the ruling. We are happy because it is not always good for workers who are paid salary every month without ability to deliver their deliver dividends of democracy to Nigerians without performing their role. Workers and technocrats at local government level are highly skilled. They are prepared. They are not lazy. But unfortunately, because of continuous rape and destruction of local government system, they have not been able to deliver their mandate. We are happy that now local government can now return to the golden era of delivering dividends of democracy, serving as a service delivery center. And we believe that with a functional local government system, myriads of problems within Nigeria will be reduced by over 50%, because that is the closest care of government to the people. In the golden era, local government was able to tar roads, able to open up.
Oh dear. It appears as if we have challenges with the audio connection through to Mr. Comrade Ambali. We'll return to him. But let me come to you, Mr. Mutu. You were speaking earlier about the implications of the powers still residing with the state governors to conduct local government elections through these state independent electoral commissions. And you mentioned that perhaps, one part of the problem that can be solved is if INEC can take over that process. But wouldn't that also become a problem because it will be taking away the structure of elections, as we say it in political parlance here in Nigeria, from the state governors? And perhaps that is why the state governors are weary of this judgment.
Yeah, I think the judgment didn't really touch on the powers of the states to conduct election. I think the judgment, I'm not sure the judgment talked about that, and I'm not sure if it's one of the prayers. The current constitution mandates the states to conduct election, but there are, like I said, there are advocacies and people are of the view that the next step to go is to amend the constitution to empower INEC to conduct local government elections. But as a stakeholder who has been involved in the process over time, I'm aware that governors were quite wary, and the state assemblies have also raised that challenge that most times the federal government wants INEC to conduct elections because they want to use that as an instrument to control the local government. That fear has been there, whether real or imagined. But we have had two examples. Once upon a time, INEC used to conduct local government elections. We saw what transpired then. I didn't really see how the federal electoral body or the federal government has used that platform to control or maybe influence elections at the local government level. I never saw that up till 1999. And again, now we've seen situations where state governments through SEC conduct local government elections, and we see what the challenges that comes with it. So it's for us to look at it and balance it, which one works better, right? If the preponderance of opinion is saying that INEC should be given the power as an independent arbiter to conduct elections, and they are able to give justification, and people believe that that is the way to go, then I see no reason why. What we should be thinking about, what safety nets can we put in place to ensure that the fears of the governors are effectively addressed? That is one option. The second option is, if the way to go is for independent electoral commission of the state to conduct election, and we want to retain that. The question is, how can we support those institutions to effectively discharge that mandate? I know that INEC didn't become what it is today. Once upon a time, INEC also had this challenge where people continue to blame INEC for influencing elections, not effectively conducting elections. But over time, we've been able to support INEC. We now have the reforms that brought about the card reader and other initiatives that have now maybe helped strengthen the system. So whichever way that it goes, either it is the states or it is the federal, the most important thing is putting in place mechanisms that will ensure effective delivery of elections. But currently, what is happening in the states is not the best. We now see a bandwagon effect, like other people have said, wherever it is a political party A that is in government, everybody, all the people that they made victorious become part of that, the people from that political party. So election management is an issue that we need to focus on. But again, one other challenge I want to bring to the table for Nigerians to discuss, please, I think it's important, is one of the challenges that has emerged is the issue of funding basic primary education, the issue of funding primary health care. Before now, from what we found out before now, the state government funds basic education payment of teacher salaries from the Joint Account Allocation Committee, from the JAC. Right now that maybe that powers have now been removed, JAC has now been abolished, the question is, who is going to now pay teacher salary? Is it the local governments? Is it the states? Which mechanism is there? Before now, we're also aware that local governments claim that teachers are not their staff. States also say teachers are not their staff. So we need to find a way to make sure we address those issues so that in the next 1 month or thereabout, we will not be having another crisis at the states over payment of teacher salary and basic education.
All right, Mr. Amuse, that's a very valid point, and I'm sure the authorities have taken note of that. But there's another point we must raise, and I would like you to speak to. So we see the way it is practiced in Nigeria that houses of assembly are more or less appendages of the governors. So they literally don't have strength to be able to hold the governors to account for most of these states. So let's bring it down to the local government. Now that they have resources, because with resources comes power, that's the truth. Councillors are holding both executive and legislative, responsibility as they have legislative arm. So we may be overreaching if we expect too much from councillors to expect to hold the maybe chairman to account or hold themselves to account. So it now falls on the citizens to hold these elected officials to account. What is the best formula to get the desired results?
Okay, I think that is a very important point you raised there. There are various mechanisms, there are various channels, there are various mediums for ensuring an effective accountability. Number one, you're aware of the NFIU guidelines. The NFIU tracks the release of funds to local governments, and now they are going to step up their game. The NFIU continue to monitor the utilization of those funds. So whistleblowing, citizens have the opportunity to blow whistle. They have opportunity to submit petitions where they suspect infraction or where they suspect any fraud, either to the NFIU or to the EFC. So the anti-corruption bodies are out there. They are now going to be monitoring closely the utilization of public funds. That is one. Number two, like I mentioned, the audit process provides a very important function as opportunity as well to track those utilization of resources. And the civil society, this is very, very important. Civil society plays a very, very important role. And civil society include both media, community-based organization, faith-based organization, professional groups, community-based organization. And like you know, it is easier to hold local government chairmen accountable than holding state governors accountable. It is easier to hold local government chairmen accountable than holding Jack, who nobody knew where he resides. So I have the confidence that supporting the local government councillors, working closely with civil society groups and the anti-corruption agencies and the media playing a crucial role, we will be able to start putting in place mechanisms. It will not change overnight. It's not going to be resolved overnight, but gradually, as our democracy matures, we'll be able to put in place necessary to make sure that there is efficiency, there is functionality. But I can give it to you, definitely expect some good changes within the next 1 year. From now on, we expect all the local government chairmen to start residing in their various local governments. headquarters, we expect the council secretariat to start becoming functional, not knowing that resources will be coming on a monthly basis. And this, the Attorney General of the Federation, with all the federal agencies responsible for tracking the utilization of those funds, also have their various roles to play as we go on. So I'm confident that things will improve as we move on. That is not going to just happen overnight.
All right, we would like to thank you very much. So many areas to touch, but we must manage our time. It's an ongoing conversation, but we'll return to it subsequently. This is by no means the end of the conversation. We want to thank you very much. We also had Comrade Olatunji Ambali, who sort of had, connection problem, and we couldn't continue the conversation with him. But we thank him in absentia. He's the President General, Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees. We also had the National Coordinator, Democracy Vanguard, Governance, Public Policy and Development Consultant, who joined us from our Abuja studio, Mr. John Mutu. Thank you very much for your time on the program.
Thank you. Congratulations once again, Nigerians.
Indeed. Thank you very much. So we'll switch gears now to the softer side of things, as we say, as we engage the grand old guard, not just the old guard now, but the grand old guard. It's a conversation you don't want to miss, so join us. We'll be right back.